Hi, welcome. Well, I absolutely almost said good morning. Welcome to. I do announcements too. Hi, welcome to the Jackie Glenn channel. I'm Jackie.
And I'm my husband, Glenn.
He's my husband, Glenn.
Hey, before we get started with this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Hit the subscribe button, bell notification. Today we're reviewing Married at First Sight, season 18, episode number 4. And there's a lot of going on. Couples are meeting families and going on honeymoons. And let's get started. Where would you like to get started? What couple you want to get started with first?
No, I guess we could do Madison and Alan.
Let's do Madison and Alan, man. My man in the broccoli drawers.
Yeah. In the broccoli underwear. The thing that really stuck out for me. So, like you said, they wake up the next morning. It's their first night together, and there was some cuddling going on.
Yeah.
They woke up just in a good mood, ready to meet families or whatever. And so we see Alan going to meet with Madison's family. Yeah. And man, I feel like he got the third degree. He got some questions asked that never had. Maybe they asked them. It just ain't never been on camera.
It never been on because Dad went in. He like, okay, what is your STD status and when the last time you've been tested? Excuse me.
And then he says Madison's gonna want to know that. No, it sounds like you want to know that.
Like you want to know that. Like it's.
I think it would have been better if he just said, I don't know, not what's your status, but that's something to take into consideration that Madison cares about is your health. Your reproductive health, or
I'm a father, and I was sitting there as a father perspective, thinking like, would I ask my daughter's boyfriend for his STD?
Because he was like, because one thing about when you're a married couple, it's a sensitive topic, but sex does come into play. So, are you clean?
I would have thought, for all honesty, I would have thought Married at First Sight would do the testing for them or give them an avenue to get testing as they come onto the show.
You would think.
You would think so. They do all this other testing and psychological testing and stuff. You would think Married at First Sight would make sure, if you're picking a partner for me, I would think that you were picking a clean partner for me. That you was bringing somebody that I was getting somebody who didn't have an STD, that didn't have any diseases, that was sign or release. Hey, you know what? The person that you're going with, because think about it, if someone does, Married at First Sight does give somebody with a partner that gives them a STD. To me, I would think Married at First Sight will be liable because you picked this person for me.
Right.
So I think the testing came through Married at First Sight, not necessarily Alan going and getting the test by himself.
I don't know. I think he did do it himself because on After Party they talked about that. It was Alan, Emem, and Thomas. They talked about that, and so I think he did do it on his own. Emem said being a health professional, that's something that I, do anyway. But yeah, so he got asked about his STD status, and her dad was like, she's gonna want to see those results. Now you just ain't gonna be able to tell her. She gonna want to see it. But when he tells her later, he just tells her, and she's fine with it.
But the sister goes in too.
Yeah,
I think Alan got one of the worst draw because the sister goes in and say, you know what, you're not her type.
But he asked.
But
he asked, and she was like, oh no, not at all. When I saw you, I was like, oh shoot, Madison's not gonna be happy type thing.
Like this is not what she used to.
And he was like, well, what is her type? What's she used to? And I feel like my man Alan got just a tad bit offended. He said on After Party that he wasn't really sure what the definition was, but her sister says she likes pretty boys.
Pretty boys. I'd have been like, I ain't a pretty boy.
His face was kind of like, why am I not a pretty boy? Because he said on After Party, I dress preppy. I feel like, but we know what pretty boy means, like pretty boy. Yeah. Pretty boy, like when people see him, like, gosh, he is pretty. Look at it. And what Madison quantified it as, like, kind of metrosexual, really, nails manicured,
man bag,
probably,
man bag,
nails manicured, facial like he does his facial routine, like clean shaven.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. And he was like, ooh. And my thing about it is then he went and talked to Madison and says, you know, your sister says, you know, I'm not your type. And well, he didn't even say that. He asked her again. Yeah. Now, mind you, she said this once at the reception or immediately after the wedding. The sister had said it. Yeah. And you would ask again. You must want your feelings hurt.
You can't keep telling me the same thing.
You must want your feelings hurt.
Keep asking the same question.
But the one thing the sister said is, but when I got to talk to you and, you know, see your personality, I was like, okay, you won me over. Yeah. And, you know, I think that'd be good for Madison. But my heart sunk for him. I was like, God, dog.
Yo, but also, the heart sunk there my heart sunk for him also. But here's the thing that I laughed at with him. He's the reason that people have to put the cameras on, Zoom cameras on. Because I forgot that part. My man said when he was talking a bit earlier, he said that when he's in his meeting, he's always in his drawers and t-shirt. Yeah. He said he works and he always keeps his camera off because he walks around in underwear and t-shirt all day. And I'm sitting here and and Madison was like, oh, we're going to change that because you're going to get dressed. She was like, I'm like, that was the first, when they woke up, I'm like, okay, so she's going to make this brother change because she gonna make sure you get dressed. You ain't gonna be walking around in your drawers and t-shirt all day on these Zoom meetings. She gonna make sure that you, again, goes back to that pretty boy thing, that she has a standard of a way she want her husband to be, and he's gonna have to conform that. And so we get to Alan's mom, and boy, she poor crybaby. She cried.
She was just so happy for her son and to be in a space and on some, like, you know, do good by my son, take care of him.
Don't hurt my baby. Don't hurt my baby. Don't let my baby get hurt. Don't hurt my baby, you know. And that's one of the things, you know, as parents on this show, I think that's what every parent, because you see it later with David's mom and different, they don't want their kids to get hurt, right? This is a non-traditional process for a lot of these couples and a lot of these people. And they want to make sure that there is no, you know, they got to pick up the pieces at the end of this thing. When this thing is over, the parents are most likely going to have to pick up the pieces, right?
The only other thing I want to say with Alan is, so we get to the point where they find out they're going on a honeymoon. Yeah. All the couples find out they're going to Cancun, Mexico. And, you know, they get on the little shuttle or whatever to go to the airport. And then they go like have a little meet and greet. Yeah. Madison has this crazy toast when they get to the resort. Yeah. She must say this all the time when she goes on trips.
Because she memorized.
She wrote it off and everybody was like, oh wow, okay. But when they're sharing amongst the couples, you know, she was like, she gave him a shocker, like, I don't know. I don't know about this.
Like she was nervous. She was
having doubts.
Her insecurities started showing.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't care. And everybody was looking like he was
more
shocked.
So Alan was like, where's this coming from? We had a good wedding.
Right.
We had a good honeymoon. Everything was fine this morning. And she said on after party, she said, the only thing I regret is I wish I had said something to him before, or maybe not even in the group setting, because it caught him off guard. He was like, I thought we was good. I thought we was cool, but
it was some chill in the air because she got cold.
Yeah.
She get hit, and he wasn't happy. I mean, I don't say he was happy. He was shocked.
Yeah.
He was shocked. So that's everything with Alan and Madison. Let's go to one of your favorite couples, and that is Karla and Juan. Karla y Juan.
Yes.
Karla y Juan.
En el español es Karla y Juan.
Karla y Juan.
The one thing, so when they wake up in the morning, they had a good night. You know, they cuddled pretty much all night. And was this the night, or was that the resort night when he's playing music loud in the bed?
Now this is, I think this is it might have been a resort, but one of the nights we would talk about it either way. He woke up
that morning.
He's playing bluegrass.
Yeah,
it was one of the resort. He was playing bluegrass, right? Of all things, and trust me, I know bluegrass. I do know bluegrass, right? And just where I work at, we do bluegrass Saturday. So, bluegrass. So I'm like, man, that's some bluegrass music there. And so he's he getting up in the bed, dancing and jumping and celebrating and doing his bluegrass thing. But you know, they're fun because when they woke up the morning after the honeymoon, they had the whole conversation about juice. Right? He talks about a juicer, and she's why? You know, she doesn't really. I can say she don't value money, but it's part of the universe. She
said money is energy.
Yeah.
And so they talked about juicing, and he was like, you get juice? Like, oh, how do you make it? You got a juicer? She was like, no, I go buy it. He was like, oh, that's got to be like $10 a wop. And in her vignette. In her vignette, she was like, it's actually 13, but he don't need to know that.
Like, yo, who pays $13 for some celery
like,
juice?
I'm gonna make you. He said, I'll be making juice.
Celery juice or carrot juice, you paying $13. By the time you get about 10, 20 of those cups of juice, you could have brought you a juicer. Like, let's stop spending. She's wasting money. So, which to me is like, okay, red flag, because this shorty is not money. She don't care about money. Which money comes up a lot in the conversation when she meets with his parents.
Yeah.
I mean, when his dad was like, okay, what do you do for a living? And she rattled off Pilates, and she rattled off
a sound healer,
and she
hairdresser,
which ain't nothing wrong with people having a different hustle, right? I'm not. Hey, look, entrepreneur life, have your hustles, but at the same time, have some stability about yourself. So Dad was like, okay, how are we gonna handle money? What do you think about money? Is it gonna be 50-50? Well, we can do 50-50.
Well, no, Dad was like, it should be 50-50, and she was like 50-50, basically. And the same conversation happened when Juan was with her family. Is she would like to get to the point where she can be a stay-at-home mom when she has kids to take care of her kids. And she basically, what they call it, she want a soft life. She want a soft life. And so, she was like, I'm not gonna not hold up my part. Depending on what that situation is. If I have to work, I don't have no problem contributing. But ultimately, I want to be there to take care of my children
when they get there. And then Juan, and vice versa, her family asks Juan, and tells him like, yo, she likes to stay at home. He like, she don't want to work. He basically like, my startup ain't up there yet. I got this construction thing. My startup is not where it's supposed to be at. Like for a little bit, she's gonna have to contribute to this thing. We're gonna have to work. She's gonna have to work, and we're gonna have to work this thing together. But we just met. You can't know. So we got to be able to do this thing together. At least have a conversation about it. And the problem is she hadn't had a conversation with Juan about this thing. And I said every year they should have a financial coach on here as well. It's not just a sexual coach. They should have a financial coach, because I can see this being a big issue for them, because she's going to just go through life like she's walking through daisies, right? And Juan's going to be hustling, because his friend said even at the wedding reception that Juan is like, never home. Like Juan is always working, he's making money, he's working on the startup, he's making sure his app is flowing, he's making sure everything, and she's just money's energy. And that's what her family was like. It's like, okay, so once your app really gets going and you start like, making a lot of money off of it, would it be okay for her to, kind of chill then? He was like, I mean, like, we'll see. I guess. I don't know. Yeah, don't answer no questions like that. We'll see. I don't even know if they have talked about finances yet. Let's see what we have, right? Let's see, do we have debt? Juan seemed like he's very frugal, thrifty, you know what I'm saying? And she seemed like, again, she's a free-spirited. And so somewhere they're gonna have to meet in the middle. Especially if they combine finances here, which I'm married at first sight. I don't think of my first 8 weeks I'm combining finances.
Oh, absolutely.
I think after we say decision day, we combine those bad boys. But for the first 8 weeks,
that's my thing, because I even think about Derek and Katie. You talking about combining finances? I think about stuff like that.
Yeah. By the way, it's open enrollment season.
It really is. But yeah, stuff like that. Like, I thought that was extreme. Like, you came into this with no health insurance. I want to put you on my health insurance, and they didn't even stay together. So yeah, we're not putting no finances together. Not yet.
We can talk about it. We can discuss it, and we can have a plan for that. But our plan won't go into effect until decision day is over. That's just me. We can talk about this, and we're going to build a future together. I have no problem with building a future with you. I have no problem with financially taking care of you. But let's make sure, because that means I have to undo everything all over again.
Right. But all in all, with Karla and Juan, it's smooth sailing with them. We expect them to get along. They're getting along. And overall, the meeting with parents didn't go bad.
Not bad.
I mean, with family, didn't go bad.
So let's go to Camille and Thomas, and we'll go with the other one. last. Camille and Thomas, right? Which was easy. I like Camille and like Thomas. I like them together, right? They're moving forward in a good pace right now. If I had to pick a favorite couple, it's them. I can see problems.
I don't know if they're my favorite.
I think he's a little dry.
Oh, he's very dry.
I think he's a little dry, but I think he's also, I'm not mistaken. Y'all help me out. Ain't he a lawyer?
I can't remember.
Like, if y'all help me out, I forgot what he does, but I think he's a lawyer. So that explains the little dryness.
But Camille met with his mom, his twin brother, and his twin brother's wife. And
which made me think about, had me going back about the fact that his twin brother wanted Thomas to marry his wife's twin. His wife's twin. I'm like, I look at the wife like, that's not gonna work out.
I mean, you never know.
Anyway, that's not gonna work out. But I go.
Thomas's brother is like, you know, telling Camille, okay, how's Thomas like? And basically, like, Thomas is more laid back. His twin was like, if anything, I'll be the more aggressive, the more assertive one. So I think you fit him real nice. What he is quirky. He has little things like, and he even mentioned, you know, like maybe the way he eats or whatever. And Camille was like, that's so funny. We talked about that. And I'm the type of person I eat one thing at a time too. It don't bother me none. And I was like, okay. We found out later on after party, I believe it was, that Keisha asked Thomas, how did your brother feel about Camille? And he was like, the wedding night, his brother sent him this big long text and was just like, I like her. I think she's gonna be good for you. And you know, I mean, just ran it all down.
Which is good, man. You want your family to love and support.
They're excited.
They're excited.
Mom was like, do you want to have kids? Back up. She said, Thomas wants to have kids. Do you want to have kids? How soon? 5 years, 2 years? She's like, I can do 2 years. His mom was like, yes.
Because the brother's biggest thing was we want our kids to play together. We wanted our kids to grow up and play together, be the same age. Well, not the same age, but play.
But here's the wild part. So on after party, Keisha asked about that. And so Thomas says his brother has a child that's 22. And Keisha's like, oh, I was like, yeah, okay. Oh, he must want to have some more kids, and he wants those to be the same age, because ain't no way.
Ain't no way, boy. Ain't no way, boy. Ain't no way.
Ain't no way. When she said that, I was like, what? He said it like he had little kids. Oh, he gonna have some. He wants to have some there. Yeah. Okay, I was like 22.
Camille parents basically asked the same question to Thomas, so they kind of had the same situation, except for I love when fathers come in here like, don't hurt my daughter. I love when fathers put that warning out there.
He said, I don't know you, man.
I don't know you, man.
Same time, man. I don't know you.
Look, I had a conversation this week with a guy.
Not really.
Not really. We had a good conversation.
Very brief.
It was very brief, but I was like, hey, we need to have a conversation.
Very brief.
We need to have a conversation. You've been around for a while. Anyway, but they had a good conversation. So Camille and Thomas, not much there. No issues, drama. They enjoying themselves there. There was touchy-feely too on the honeymoon.
Yes.
So they saw a lot of couple them touchy-feely as well. Then we go to Ikechi and Emem. Right. Ikechi and Emem, they like each other.
Yeah, the one thing when the couples got together,
they was touchy-feely.
What's her name? Michelle?
Yeah, Michelle.
Michelle was shook. Not just because at the time when they were on a shuttle, everybody was sitting rather close.
Everybody was buttoned up.
And she was like, I'm looking at everybody like, did y'all meet your spouse before the wedding? And like the main one was Emem and Ikechi. Like in that setting on the shuttle, once they got to the resort, you know, everybody's like, dang. They're very lovey-dovey, very affectionate to each other. When they woke up after the honeymoon, he was like, oh, when your skin touched mine, my God, today. And Keisha asked on after party, like, what kind of skin touch are we talking about? It's like, no, just, you know, like skin touching.
Yeah, because she said they didn't.
But it was intimate. It was intimacy. It was just a closeness there. It was
sleeping next to somebody. Well, he said it because Emem said they hadn't done anything yet.
Right.
But they just talk a lot of trash. They talk a lot of trash. They talk a lot of sexual conversations. And she's like, I do want to see you naked.
Like, when they got into the pool at the resort. He was like, she said, take it off. Take it off to take his shirt off in the water. Yeah.
It is still something about them though that I can see where they can have some friction, because he said he wants the intellectual person, right? He didn't want anybody who's not intellectual. She's very intellectual. She's very smart. But what his family said to me that I really stuck out to me was he wants a unicorn. That he wanted somebody.
Oh, it's two things they said.
He wanted somebody. The first thing, he wants somebody to be perfect. Guess what, bro? That goes back to what we say all the time. People have this list. They have these lists, and they want everything to check, every box to check on the list, and it's not going to check on the list. I think it was her sister who said, somebody who said, you know, you're not going to, in marriage, there going to be some times that it ain't going to check. They're going to make you mad. They're going to make you upset. You have to just deal with it and go through it. Because I asked you the question. Yeah, I asked you the question. What is it? Yeah, what is it that you don't like about me? Will you still get through, or whatever case may be? You ain't got no answers right now.
No, that was his friend's wife.
His friend's wife, yeah.
Yeah, she was like, on after party, she says, you know, that is a little intimidating because nobody's perfect. You know, we strive for perfection, but nobody's perfect. And to have somebody to put you at that level, it's like, I feel like I can't even attain that.
Yeah.
The other thing that they said was, you know, basically, like, Ikechi's popular. He's a poet. He sings. He's a writer. He got a little following. You know, if people come at him on social media, can you handle that or whatever? She was like, basically, he with me. I ain't stunting them. I ain't worried about it.
Which made her family ask, why ain't he married? What made her family, why he's married, and that's where comes the unicorn situation at. Because, again, he does good on paper, and they asked about his motives. That was the other thing. Like, what you here for, bro? Now, to me, just me, I think Brooke TV chasing. I'm sorry.
That's what people try to say.
You did Atlanta. You did Houston. You mean all these years, the only way that you thought you could find somebody was Married at First Sight?
He said that, though, because, okay, so.
I just thought you TV chasing.
He had been engaged before. It was a relationship that he had.
Yeah, when he was 25.
It was like, yes, it was like a college thing.
Yeah.
And they talked about this when they're sitting out on the resort. Basically, he said, you know, there was some infidelity, but I chalk it up to the fact that I was young, didn't understand, didn't know what I wanted or whatever. And he's been single since then.
Yeah.
Since then. And that's what, if you go before, like his friends and family said, they were concerned that like he was not going to try to get married. Like, so they were excited about that for him. And so, you know, she was like, it is a red flag for her, but the fact that he sounds like he learned from it is not something that he's stuck in. I don't expect it to be an issue. So they did share that. So, yeah. Overall right now, I still like them.
I like them, but there's something, I don't think he's metrosexual. He's very particular.
Yeah.
And very particular, he's very together. And he likes it his kind of like his way, to me, what I think. And I think they're gonna bump because she is, and I think she's willing to, here's a bad word for y'all guys. She's willing to submit to that and come to where he's at. I think they both, because she wants to be married so bad. They both want to be married so bad. So now how do you get two people who want to be married so bad to come together and start to mend their life together and they walk together? And I think there may be a little bit of friction a little bit down the line, but they may be able to get over it. But and if his motive is true, right? If he's here for her and not here for the unicorn. And he gotta understand that she's not perfect and she's gonna make some mistakes. And they schedule when they get back. See, honeymoon is funny because you spend 24 hours with a person. I like to see
like 24 hours a day.
24 hours a day.
Several days.
For several days. I like to see
it's
not realistic because this is all you have to do. I want to see how it is when you get back home. All right. Speaking of getting back home, the biggest topic with Michelle and David was home. Was a home, right? Was a home, man. But look, they get up the next morning, and they're having David get up early. He goes to the gym. He works out. He's like, I get up early. She talks about his alarm.
Oh yeah, two times in this she talks about how his alarm went off early, and the second time was when they on a resort. It's like I'm gonna just turn it off. These are my alarms though, but I'm thinking, okay.
Hey, this man like to work out.
At this point, no, not him.
Her.
At this point, like
she doing too much.
Everything, but I feel like everything's irritating her.
Yo, and let's.
Who else was like that? Somebody else was like, when one thing didn't set well with everything, start irritating her. Yeah. She's like, your alarm went off. She even kind of almost, I felt like she kind of wanted to complain about the fact that he got up and went to work out. That's my routine. I get up and go work out.
You sleep, right? You sleep. I didn't want to bother you. And she on after party, he talks about her not really wanting him to sleep in the bed. When they slept in the bed together, he asked permission. Do you mind me sleeping in the bed? This is what we didn't see. He's like, do you mind me sleeping in the bed with you? She's like, yeah, right. He like, and Keisha like, what was there a fort between y'all? You're like, nah, we slept, we slept in the bed. We was there, which goes into when we talk about later on him sleeping on the couch because he chose to. But they talk about Planet Fitness. I mean, they talk about him. Excuse me. They talk about him working out. Planet Fitness. They talk about him working out, right? And then they go into the weird conversation again, and she kind of demeans him and put him down. Like he got to. I'm getting irritated, and I don't even live in my parents. I never lived in my parents' basement. Truth be told, I never lived in my parents' house when I was grown. But I'm getting irritated. Like this man told you, I have means of getting out. I have means of moving. I just have not done it yet. It's an apartment.
Yeah, that was their first conversation. So what is the basement like? Like he's like, it's 2 bedrooms. I have my own kitchen.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to see my parents if I don't want to. They're upstairs. I'm downstairs.
I got my own entrance.
He has his own entrance. And here's the other thing. Like she's really stuck on this. Here's the thing. He said he's only been living there for 8 months. It ain't not 8 years. 8 months.
And my mind is thinking to the money. Like he works 2 jobs, right? He has the money, or potentially, and I'm assuming he has the money from the sale of his other house. So he said, "I'm waiting for a wife. I can go." And here's the other thing: it's not like you're moving back to his parents' basement,
right?
That's the biggest thing I want her to understand. Just because you live in the basement now. Y'all are married. You're going to go to the Married at First Sight apartment complex. And you can talk in those 8 weeks where we're going to go live at. And he said, yo, if it lasts, I have money to go buy a house. He never really has to ever go back to his parents' house again. Never. Because
that's his thing. He was like, I felt like he sold his townhouse or whatever, his condo. He's basically like, I'm not going to rent a place.
Right.
I go stay with my parents and rack up money. And it's a help to me and it's a help to them. Because the mother said before, he came back home because it helped us with some things. It's not like he just went home because I ain't got nothing else to do.
But it's not like he's been home from the age of 18 to 36. That's the thing I want her to, she can't get past him. He keeps explaining it. At this point, I'm tired of hearing the conversation because there's nothing else he can do to ease her mind. He's went through the whole gambit. He's answered the questions freely. He's open. He's honest about it. There's nothing else this man can do.
But that was the problem too. When he met with her family, like her family was like, "Hold on, slow down, player. You giving her too much at one time." I think it was her aunt. She was like you coming off kind of pushy. I was like, I don't think it's pushy.
He's just
being upfront and honest. Like, I don't want to give you no surprises later. Let me just tell you that I live with, and he told them, I let her know that I live with my parents, and she was like,
and they were like, Michelle didn't like that too much, did they? They knew that based off her upbringing, her mom having to do everything, and so
they was like, we're super independent women,
and so
we need somebody that's independent too. And he tried, he's like, it's not that I'm not independent.
I do everything. I'm independent. The thing is too, the reason that he said on After Party, I love After Party, that he said he's honest is because in a past relationship, he wasn't that open. He wasn't that shared. So he turned over a new leaf that he wants to be open. And his family says that David is all in.
Yeah.
That he's all in this. So he said, I'm going to lay everything on the table. I'm going to be all in and I'm going to be transparent. And you're going to have to just deal with it. As me, I told Jack, and we talked about this, the timing was wrong.
Yeah.
I would have shared the homeless stuff. Oh, not homeless stuff.
I
would have shared living in an apartment. The way I would have put it was, I live in an apartment underneath my parents, right? Underneath my parents' house. I live in an apartment, and I would have waited till the honeymoon. I wouldn't have said it the wedding day.
Oh no, absolutely.
I would have waited till the honeymoon. Maybe 2 days later, maybe midway in the honeymoon, the conversation would have came up.
But definitely before the home visit.
Yeah, definitely before the home visit, right? Would have brought it up. I would have got to know her, understand where she at, and then share that with her. Then his timing was wrong, and she can't get it. She's stuck. She can't get out of her head. She is literally stuck. Yeah. I don't care what he shows in his bank account. I don't care. He brought up may have 6 figures, 108. Look, she's stuck.
She's so stuck. She's so stuck that again the next night when he says, you know, I don't know, did you feel me? You know, I didn't sleep in the bed, and she was like, I think she said she didn't really notice. Right. You know, he had gotten up. He wanted some tacos.
It's like 6
in the middle of the night, like 1 o'clock in the morning. He ordered some tacos, and so he was downstairs. He was on the couch. I just stayed there. I just you know, stayed there. And then this morning I went and worked out or whatever. And so, you know, she's having a conversation with him, and she's so stuck. Like, me and my husband had to rewind it. It was like, did they cut something out? Did she just snap? Because she gets up out of the bed and she's doing her hair, and she's like, I mean, what makes a 36-year-old stay at home with his, like, does your mommy do stuff? I was like, oh God.
Do your mommy do your laundry? Do your mommy make your bed? Like, where are we going here, right?
He talked about the fact that him working out and how he used to do like a bodybuilding type of thing. I did it more for health benefits, not really trying to get into it now because it's a lot of work. And, you know, I have my jobs already, and then I have a wife. Oh, are you saying I'm another job?
No, he's saying he has to be able to prioritize time because he want to spend time with you. This is women. Sometimes women hear what they want to hear.
And plus she's stuck. She's stuck. Why would you? I mean, just the way she talked to him about living with his parents. I said, gosh, that's rude. That's rude. And I was just like,
even on a honeymoon, people notice that something's going on because they're the only couple, as we mentioned earlier, they're the only couple that's not close. Michelle is she's sitting away from him, and David's chilling. And
I think it made her feel a little bit better when Madison kind of said what she said, and she's just like, I'm just not there. I'm overwhelmed. They talk about that. Her family talks about how fast she gets overwhelmed. He was like, yeah, I noticed she was overwhelmed. I'll give her a little piece at a time or whatever. When they sat and ate after the meet with the family, said the same thing. You know, I try to pull back some. I know you're overwhelmed. Oh, she talked about how did you enjoy the wedding and the reception, and like how she was thrown off, how he was like, you know, it was a good time. She was like, did you know I had a breakdown? How the freak would he know? Then she goes to tell him, like, when I was talking to my friends, I like lost it. I went in the bathroom. I didn't want to cry. I said, how would he know? And he was like, maybe I'm not that perceptive that I didn't notice. No, she put on a good front in that space.
And he said, as a husband, I would want to know. I would want to know. He wants to comfort her. Right now, I see David trying to.
Don't want no comfort.
I see David trying to do all the right things, right? I see David trying to be there. He's patient. He's communicating. He's doing what he's supposed to do. You know, I know people be mad at his ponytail cocked to the side and all that other stuff.
I hate it when it falls apart.
But he's being very patient, and he understands the process. I can go only can go on what I see right now, and I'm like, yo, bro, don't need this.
No, yeah, she's a mess.
She's giving him too much. But again, he ain't been rude. No. We saw previews that next week he get a little indignant. But again, you only can poke the bear with so much. But that's a whole different. We'll see what happens next week, which leads to that. But he's been calm. He's been giving. I'm gonna use the word. He's been giving her grace.
Yeah, and this is the one thing I want to say too. Because they talked about this on After Party and a little bit with him sleeping on the couch. When he slept on the couch, it was like, I just slept on the couch. It wasn't like purposeful.
Yeah.
But the other thing is like, she don't feel comfortable with them sleeping in bed. This just me. It's a bed.
It's a bed.
You go on band trips, cheerleading stuff for school. You go, you name it, in college, bro. You have slept in a bed with somebody that you wasn't romantic, you weren't attracted to. No way, no how. This my friend. It's just maybe it's just me. You let me know. I'm just sleeping. We sleeping in the bed. I don't give a rat's tail.
Well, you can put a barrier.
I'm sleeping in this, but I ain't even got to put no barrier. I'm just gonna sleep in the bed. It's not that deep to me.
Back to back. I mean, it's back to back. But again, if you want,
even if I'm not back to back, it's not that deep to me.
I ain't spooning with randoms.
It's a bed.
We ain't spooning with randoms. We go back to back.
I'm not gonna make nobody sleep on the couch. You know how uncomfortable I would have to be. Like, you would have to really give me creep vibes. You would really have to.
Well, who at this point would you be in a room with that would give you creep vibes?
I'm saying me.
About this.
But I'm just saying, for me, at this point on Married at First Sight, for me not want to sleep in the bed with somebody like you, like I would have to be completely grossed out, creeped out. Like,
at that point, I'm gonna end the marriage. If I can't sleep in the bed with you, we're not gonna.
It's just a bed.
It's just a bed. It's just a bed. That's what it is. But y'all let us know what you think. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell notification. Make sure you communicate with us. We want to know how you feel about this episode of Married at First Sight. Married at First Sight. Hey, let us know how you think about what you think about David and Michelle, and who's your favorite couple so far. Hey, once again, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.